Welcome to Mindfulness with Metta at VSAC. I invite you to make this time about you getting to have some space and time from whatever else might have been going on before this today, and if possible, as much as possible anyway, while you're here, just letting go of whatever's coming next. And if you really have some things coming up that you find you're thinking about and wanting to remember, oh, I got to remember to do this or that. Um, and sometimes we have really important things coming after our practice of mindfulness. It's okay to have like a notepad beside you and just say, okay, I'm just going to write down so I don't forget to do that thing. And then that can help you kind of let go of that for the rest of the time that you're here, and give you that confidence that it doesn't mean you're going to lose a thread that is important to you, while also giving you the freedom to not have to have that thread alive in your mind when you're here practicing mindfulness. So, what I'm alluding to by talking about that is that mindfulness practice is really about making a really conscious choice about what you're putting your awareness on. And generally, that's something that you wouldn't normally just be like, it wouldn't be the normal things that you would normally be thinking about in your mind. Because the idea here is to give yourself a bit of a break from the usual kind of practice of thinking and planning and remembering and recalling, which are all useful, great, helpful skills in the mind. But also to cultivate, this is about cultivating the ability to put a pause on all that stuff and just give yourself some time to notice um, sensations in your body, or if that feels like too loaded a place to hang out for too long, then maybe just looking at a blank wall, or uh, something that you have in your room that's not so complicated that it's going to generate a lot of thoughts for you, but just as enough of a visual anchor for you to just sort of be aware of. And you can also practice settling the mind by thinking uh, a simple word or phrase over and over. Maybe you can say it out loud if you're on your own, and or if you're around folks that are amenable to you doing that, um, or you can do it internally. So it could just be something like, may I be safe. The words of loving kindness are actually can be helpful for as a mental topic if you prefer that to being in the body. So may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be peaceful. So for those are four classical phrases. You can find your own too. Um, the idea is just to have it fairly simple, not get too complicated, not to spend too much time worrying about whether we have the phrases right or not. Just to pick something and then start using that as a landing pad for the mind. So when I say landing pad, it's like it's a place to hang out, but also our mind tends to go off and drift off. So know that you're not alone when that happens. Maybe I'll say if that happens, but I think for most people that is going to happen. It certainly happens for me every time I meditate, even after 20 plus years. So the idea is not so much that we're creating a situation where we're not thinking or our mind isn't going off, but it's more like becoming more and more aware of what the mind is doing in the container of having this intention during this time, this space, to keep bringing it back to whatever our chosen sort of meditation object is. So let's say for today, it's those phrases. So whenever we notice the mind is off thinking about something else, recognizing, oh, I'm off somewhere else. This is where we bring in the kindness. So metta means kindness. So play on words. My name is Metta, but I chose that name to remind me that I value kindness, being kind in the world. And so this kindness comes in our meditation to ourselves when we notice our mind is off somewhere. How kind can we be about that? So we may be used to driving ourselves in a way that we've been taught by our culture or by school or maybe by our parents, or where it's, if we're not doing the right thing, we're doing it wrong, and we should force ourselves to do the right thing, whether that's studying or whatever it is that's going on in the moment. And that somehow in some way we're like, I don't almost like consciously or subconsciously punishing ourselves for having been on the wrong thing. And so the idea of meditation is not that there's a right or wrong thing. It's a practice of coming back to a focus. But part of that practice is actually being kind with ourselves, acknowledging that our mind is designed to go off and think about things, and just to acknowledge that, and not be harsh about that, be accepting of that, but not so accepting that we just continue to go off on those tangents, but just accepting and kind in the sense that, oh, well, of course my mind is off. That's what minds do. It's just like puppies wander off and do things. Maybe they're supposed to be on the paper doing their business and they wander off. We gotta bring them back gently and kindly, but we don't treat them harshly because they're not being malevolent, and neither is our mind. It's just doing what it naturally does. So this is kind of a counterculture thing, at least for those of us who've been turned through the school system in the West, maybe other places, that we practice something new when we notice we're not quote unquote on task. It's actually not that we're not on task. It's part of our task is to notice that our mind has gone off and done that thing of thinking of things, going to other places. Just like, and can we just meet the mind there? Oh, hello. Oh, I see. You're off over here. Ah, of course. That's what you do. You've wandered off to do the thing you do. And I'm just going to breathe here and invite you gently back. Remember that thing we were doing? We were talking about the phrases of loving kindness. So what was the first? Do we remember where we were? I don't remember. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. May I be safe. And what's the next one? May I be happy. Well, we could have these written down for ourselves until we have them memorized, right? May I be peaceful. May I be well. If you prefer 3 phrases, 5 phrases, fine. Mix it up a little bit. My only uh, what would I say? There's no right or wrong here, but what I would suggest is that if it gets to be too long and too involved and too many phrases, it can get a bit complicated. And the idea is actually to have something that's simple enough to create a sort of a rhythm so that our mind can kind of settle into a well-known kind of rhythm. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. And sometimes we might start to slow it down. May I be safe. And just actually feel into, what's it like to feel safe? See if you can generate a bit of that feeling. Notice where that shows up or how you notice that. May I be happy. What's it like to be genuinely happy? See if you can allow the mind. And here we're going off, but we're going off to a topic that's related to happiness. Can you remember a time when you were genuinely happy and what that felt like in your body? Try that for a moment and then go on to the next phrase. May I be, was I saying? I'm going to say healthy. Sometimes I'll switch these around because I do have a few different ones patterns that I use. So may I be healthy. May I be well. And this doesn't mean that we have to be perfectly healthy in order to wish ourselves this. People live with different conditions, different health challenges, but may I be as healthy as I can in this body right now as I am. May my health be as well as it can be given the circumstances. So a kind wish, a wish of generosity to ourselves. And then maybe even remembering what it feels like to feel better versus worse in terms of our health. Just tuning into what that might feel like. And then may I be peaceful. What's it like to feel genuinely peaceful? Can you remember a time when you felt some genuine peace. Maybe a time in nature, a space between big obligations in your life or a vacation. Maybe it was just a moment where you just had a different perspective. Could be watching the wind blow through the trees and not having anything else trouble you. Just even if you feel like you don't remember any particular moments of peacefulness, just imagining what it might feel like to feel more peaceful, what it might feel like to not be troubled by worries or less troubled. So may I feel peaceful might mean may I feel a little more peace than I do right now. And what might that be like? And just notice how that shows up in terms of sensations if it does. And then coming back to the beginning. May I be safe. What's it like to feel safe? May I be happy. What's it like to feel genuine joy and happiness? Just conjure up a moment, whether it's imagination or memory. Just as much as comes up, doesn't have to be perfect. But even if you're just holding space for the possibility that you might feel a sense of what it would be like to feel joy, even if it doesn't show up, just holding that space. Meditation, in a way, is holding space for something else, for something to show up that may or may not come in this moment. But when we hold that space, we're allowing, we're laying the groundwork sometimes for something. So, in some ways, all we're doing to do that is to interrupt the usual patterns of our thinking. So, may I be safe? May I be happy? May I be healthy? May I be as well as I can? What would it feel like to feel a little more vital, a little more alive, more energized, a little like more at ease in our bodies? May I feel peaceful? May I be at peace? What would it be like to have a peaceful moment? May I be safe? May I be happy? May I be healthy? May I be peaceful? May I be safe, safe and protected. May I experience genuine joy and happiness. May I feel healthy and vital, energetic to whatever degree I can in my body. And may I be at peace. May I experience peace, peacefulness, contentment. Continuing the phrases at your own pace. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. And if you notice your mind has gone to think about other things, or maybe found a related but tangential topic, we're just getting caught up on how to do this right or whether you're doing it right. See if you can gently let that go, the nice deep breath, thanking your mind for being so creative, so interesting, and just gently inviting it back, just to try this out, to keep trying this out, to see how this might bring in something of benefit, something new and interesting, and also of benefit. You're carving out a new way of being here, a new avenue, a new possibility that can become more and more available to you in any moment you choose. The more you practice it, the more it becomes available in any moment that you think it might be helpful. And I'm going to suggest that it would be rare, rare indeed, to find a moment where it wouldn't be helpful to be able to connect with a good wish for yourself, for safety, for happiness, for health, and for peacefulness. And these are safe things to wish other people as well, no matter what people are doing in the world, whether it's good and wholesome, helpful things, or whether they're maybe doing things that aren't so helpful or maybe hard for other people. But if they're more in touch with feeling safe and happy and healthy and peaceful, it's likely that it's not going to increase their motivation to harm or do things that aren't helpful. I'm not saying that we necessarily have to wish these phrases for anybody in particular, but just knowing, I found some peace in just knowing that I don't have to be worried about how I bring these qualities into the world, that they're wholesome for everyone. There's no time in which it's going to bring harm into the world to wish these kind phrases, these safety and happiness and health and peace. So it's one less thing to worry about. And one more sort of an invitation to allow this to become a kind of a limitless practice, if that makes any sense. We can invite our hearts to just feel these things as fully as they can. There's no way in which these feeling, caring about bringing safety and peace and health into the world will never, there'll never be a time when that's something that you shouldn't be doing for some reason. That would be somehow wrong. Why? So that's my take on it. You can explore for yourself in your own mind and heart how that feels for you. But I just invite that as a possibility that we can find things that can be kind of limitless practices for us in the sense that we don't feel like we have to edit mm, when and how they are okay or allowable. And it's nice to have something like that to land on. You can always hang out here and know that you're not doing any harm. That's the beauty of loving kindness. I'm just going to invite you to notice whatever you do, notice right now how this has been for you. There's curiosity about it to continue it or try it again or more. So just notice how you're doing internally. It can be helpful to notice if there are any shifts. And although mindfulness does tend to help us over the long term, and it tends to help more as we start to develop some momentum in our practice, it is meant to be helpful and help us feel better. So um, it's okay to check in and see how you're doing. And if there's anything you can adjust to help yourself feel more at ease and more at peace right now, just inviting that in. Whether it's a different way of breathing or a different posture. Didn't talk about it much today, but it's always okay to bring movement into meditation and mindfulness. Sometimes our nervous system needs movement in order to be in balance, and that's totally okay. Sometimes it'd be helpful to be doing something with our hands, whether it's knitting or sometimes with our body, whether it's, ideally a practice where that we know well enough and that we know is safe for us, that we don't have to think too much about it. So if you have a yoga practice or qigong or tai chi practice or something like that, Pilates, some kind of whatever energetic practice you might have. Some people have breathing practices. Some people have fidgets that they like to use. Some people just like to walk back and forth or go for a walk while they are mindful. And so we can bring these phrases into any of those activities. In some activities, we might even pace. If we're walking, you might pace the phrases with your steps. I found it quite helpful one year when I was marching up and down a hill because it was snow on the island I was living on. The car couldn't make it up the hill, so I had to walk down the hill to get to the car, drive, and then come back. I would carry all my groceries and things up the hill, and it was a bit of an effort, and not all that pleasant to be straining, getting tired. And I found that if I just practiced those phrases and with really wishing them strongly, that it brought a nice rhythm to the effort I was making and made it feel like it turned it into something even more meaningful. Um, and I felt like, and I don't know if it was the phrases themselves taking effect or the getting to actually put the energy into phrases as well as the physical activity. But I started to feel like less resentment about having to do this walk up this hill, and more joy and gratitude for everything around me. Uh, so it's something to try out. It may or may not work that way for you, and that's okay. Part of it is noticing how things work and what works and what doesn't. That's the beauty of mindfulness, is that we're present for ourselves, and we notice what's working and what isn't. So I invite you to notice what works for you, what doesn't, and then to try to find, also understand what are some of the things that maybe they're rubbing me in a way that's a little uncomfortable, but that ultimately could be helpful. So not just to just necessarily dismiss everything that doesn't feel great, but to look at them and say, okay, this might be feel challenging or difficult in some way, but maybe I have some belief that it could still be helpful. I'm going to keep giving it a try for a while to give it a genuine chance to have a positive effect. So let that be a part of it too, in terms of how you analyze and choose and what you choose to focus your energy and time on. Just be really honest with yourself about it. This is really a uh, journey of being self-aware of ourselves and working towards practicing the things that are helpful for our own heart and mind. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope that some of this has been helpful in some way. And Encourage you to continue practicing in whatever way works for you. And I'm going to turn on the original sound. There'll be a little bit more background noise, but I want to ring the gong to end the session. And it's just so much nicer when you get to hear the whole thing instead of it cutting out. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be as healthy as you can be. May you feel genuine peace. Bye for now.